Masa, even then, the question still arises. And it's a question that I'm not answering. The question still arises as to what we should do with the scarce resources that we have.
Right.
Now, clearly, over the last 9 months, some significant things have happened to the national economy. I mean, the value of the cedi has appreciated, no doubt. Inflation now, I'm told, is in the single digit.
8.3.
8.3, 8.4, thereabout, you know. The debt level apparently has come down and so on. So some significant things are happening. And just about a few minutes ago, we heard the Minister of Agriculture, Eric Opoku, make claims about poultry farming and how it has improved significantly and how now poultry farmers are producing eggs, too much eggs for the market and so on, you know. So all of these positive things are happening. But still, the economy is not out of the woods.
True.
It's not out of the woods. You understand? If you look at the ratio of how much we are likely to spend on the repayment of external debts and how much we spend on health, it is troubling. You understand?
Yeah.
So, yes, we do not expect our leaders to walk to work naked on foot. I don't think that anybody expects that. We expect our leaders to cover their nakedness with clothes. Clothes will cost some money. We don't expect them to go to office on a horse-drawn cart. We don't expect that. You understand? But still we expect a certain level of modesty. And again, this government has taken very interesting steps. For example, the decision to control petrol supply to appointees, if it's well implemented, is a positive step. You understand? The decision not to use certain types of cars, you know, the decision that appointees should not use certain types of cars is a worthy, you know, development and so on. The decision to cut down the number of ministers is interesting, it's important and so on. So I see some attempt at prudence in public expenditure. But it is not enough.
Okay.
You understand? Right. But it is not enough. There's a lot more that we can do.
Right.
But you see, just a short one. It's different when government makes some decisions and also to see whether appointees are complying with them. I'm just referencing issues around nature of vehicles and their sizes and their fuel consumption. I have not seen anything change in terms of the vehicles that government appointees are using. They are all still using the same big vehicles, the Land Cruisers, and if whether it's CEOs are still buying new Land Cruisers. Wow. Exactly. So at times, that's why we should have that accountability.
But hold on.
We should be able to track.
Isaac, I've asked this question before, and the explanation I got was that these cars that we're seeing, these CEOs and so on driving, I'm told they're cars that were bought under the erstwhile administration. And they have to be used. And
a good number of them were bought previous years, but yes. New ones are being
bought.
Of course, yes. You can check from some of the CEOs that have been appointed into some of these agencies. They are using new Lexus or new Land Cruisers, and so government should be able to track what it says to what is happening on the ground, and then we can have periodic updates or reports to tell us that since government came up with this policy, these are the total number of vehicles that have been bought by across the state agencies. These are the costs, these are the how low we went, and these are the savings amongst others. And leadership should start from the presidency. Okay? Leadership starts from the top. And so you can give this fiat to the CEOs and the directors and all. But how does government itself at the level of the Jubilee House or presidency, show it, because if government is moving, and you look at the number of vehicles that goes with the president, and then the cars and all of this, so it's an interesting conversation.
No, it's
Moro. I don't have any empirical evidence to challenge what the Honourable Member of Parliament is saying. But at least I know one case. And I happen to know that one case because there's a very good friend of mine who is involved. And I'm talking about Hassan Ligbi, who was appointed the managing director of the State Transport Corporation. STC. He went there. There's no official car for the managing director, CEO of State Transport Corporation.
Where is it?
There's none. There's no official car.
So what was Anakomia using?
I don't know. So today, as we speak, Hassan Ligbi uses his own car for official work.
Interesting.
Now, this is one case in which an exception can be made for the purchase of a new vehicle.
Yes.
That's true.
Of course, in purchasing that new vehicle, we ought to be modest.
Yes,
we
are guided then by...
It should be guided by his workload
exactly,
and a certain level of comfort that we expect from an ordinary managing director of a state enterprise.
I even marvel why...
Can I just finish?
Okay.
So under circumstances such as the STC circumstance, the new CEO deserves to have a car. That does not contradict the directive which has been issued from the Flagstaff House. It doesn't contradict it at all. You understand? So there may be exceptional cases that we need to look at.
Right.
Of course, if the Honourable Member of Parliament is right, if he has the evidence that CEOs are buying expensive, luxurious cars and so on, that's a matter for concern. But I'm just making the point that there are some areas which may be exempted from the directive issued by the presidency because the chief executive officer has no car at all.
I agree, but see, it doesn't, for me, it doesn't, how do you call it, take anything away from the call he's making, which is that when you make an announcement of a policy, somebody ought to be monitoring whether that policy is in place or not.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yes,
that's certainly a very good point.
And I even want to take this to the point where
the public ought to be informed from time to time.
We've
had savings and so on.
You see, we've had conditions of service over the years,
yes,
which entitles government appointees or CEOs to some categorization of vehicles. You need a 4x4 Land Cruiser and then a saloon car and the rest. So they are already existing in some conditions of service. But we should be able to review some of these conditions.
Right.
And make sure that, because where I was previously, I had always advocated that if you live in Accra and work in Accra, and as an MD or CEO or what have you, you're entitled to a saloon car and a Land Cruiser 4-wheel drive. If you are in Accra working from your home in Cantonment or Osu or wherever to Osu to work, why are you driving Land Cruiser when you have a saloon car? Can't we have government guidelines? Because I traveled to Malaysia some years ago, and top ministers and then top CEOs, they are all using saloon cars.
If I'm an
and
MP,
they are Toyota.
No, but if I'm an MP,
yes,
and also a minister,
yes,
how do you check that?
Yeah, so they use the ministry's vehicles. So they will take their personal car.
You don't get the point I'm making.
Right.
If I'm an MP,
yes,
and I'm a minister,
yes,
remember that as an MP, I'm entitled to a car loan.
That's correct.
So I decided to take advantage of that car loan. I bought a Toyota, whatever car I want to buy.
That's correct.
I can decide to drive the car wherever and whenever.
That's correct. But
you might think that I'm just a minister, but I'm also an MP.
I agree, but that is when
that's where the lines are blurred.
When that can become a conversation when you already have a clear policy direction that if you're working in Accra officially as a CEO or deputy CEO and
whether MP or not.
So that's for government appointees.
Yeah, so
I'm coming. I'm saying that when you have that direction,
yes,
okay, then you know that about 80% of the total number of appointees, because appointees are in excess of 4,000-5,000 of government. They are in excess of 4,000-5,000. A number of MPs serving in these categories are less than 50, because already government ministers are 50 and deputy ministers. So the chunk of the waste or the cost to government expenditure sits at those units. And I'm just figuring out a new conversation that I'm not convinced why as a country, because the four-wheel drives and the rest are supposed to enhance your work when it comes to traveling to areas where you need robust vehicles.
Yes, I'm saying that. So it's an ideal call and it's a fair one, but I'm saying that. So take for instance, in the case of Uncle Kwesi's friend who, I don't know whether he now has it. He has a car. He has a new car, but he was using his own SUV.
He was using not SUV. Saloon.
It's a saloon car.
He was still using
but assuming this person,
but his condition of service will give him a Land Cruiser. Currently, his conditions of service.
So you say you're driving that Land Cruiser,
yes,
and may think the Land Cruiser belongs to the states. Maybe it's for him.
That's a different.
And then say that I'm saying that it's a good call. I totally agree with you, but I think the mechanics of it is what we really need to. We need to look at.
But Moro, I mean, look, this conversation about the report on the crash of the aircraft is bringing up so many things.
Yes.
And one of the things that the Honourable Member of Parliament has brought up has to do with conditions of service for public servants. Yes. Master, some of those conditions are ridiculous to the extreme.
For example?
So ridiculous, it's unbelievable. We are living in Ghana. Some public servants, as part of their conditions of service, are entitled to spend their annual leave abroad. Can you believe it? Public servants working in Ghana are entitled to spend their annual leave abroad. Not just by themselves alone, but then they can take their spouses and dependents with them abroad to spend their annual leave. Yes. Now, do you know where this is coming from? This is coming from the colonial era, where most public servants, top civil servants and so on, came from the colonial metropolis. They were expatriates. And therefore, every year, they were entitled to annual leave in their countries of origin.
Yeah.
How many years after independence? We are still keeping this. So some of these public officials are still enjoying the conditions of service of the colonial officials.
So it's a colonial...
I mean, it's unbelievable.
So colonial cultural relic.
Yes.
Well, I wish it were just a cultural relic. I mean, they have assumed the positions and privileges of the colonialists.
Yeah.
No change. So you are working in Ghana, you are employed by the government of Ghana, you are being paid by the Ghanaian taxpayer, but every year you are entitled to annual leave, which you must enjoy outside Ghana. And you don't go alone, you go with dependents and you go with your spouse. And what is wrong with us?
Because we have not been discussing this. We don't talk about them. And
I mean, no,
these are the conversations.
You are Ghanaian.
Emancipate yourself from mental slavery.
Yeah, so
Moro, can you believe this? You are Ghanaian.
Oh God.
You probably went to school in Ghana.
Yes.
You are employed by the government of Ghana. But every year, you are entitled to spend your annual leave abroad with your wife and dependents.
Yeah, the person has not even gone to Tamale to go and see Mole Game Reserve. It's right there. It's possible
that the person sitting in the car has never been to Kumasi.
Yes.
But is entitled to spend his or her annual leave abroad.
These are conditions.
Yeah, these are their places of preference.
Okay, America.
New York, Washington, London, Paris, Bonn. Unbelievable. Hey, Ghana man.
Where do you want them to go?
Sogakope. Go to Sogakope and Techiman and then Money Game Reserve.
Maybe when you recommend a place for them, they would take advantage of it.
It shouldn't be in their conditions of service at all.
Yeah, I know.
That should be expunged from the conditions of service of all public officers immediately.
Yeah.
Spend your annual leave here.
Now, if you choose to travel, you make your own savings and you travel.
Exactly.
Exactly. You know, so these are all things that I believe over time we need to